The South Australia Museum is facing a serious maintenance issue. Artifacts within the museum are being damaged due to the use of artificial light and the natural cause of daylight. However, without either, the museum wouldn't be able to properly fulfill visual requirements of visitors. There are several ways to reduce the damage from the artificial light of lamps within the South Australia Museum. It is advisable to just replace all lamps within the museum with LED lamps. LED lamps emit the least amount of harmful ultraviolet and infrared rays, and therefore will inflict less damage to artifacts over time. Another way to reduce artificial light damage is through the installation of movement sensors, as well as the installation of a DALI system. Movement sensors switch lights on only when a visitor enters the room. This minimizes the exposure time of artifacts to artificial light. A DALI system enables close monitoring of each individual light and provides more control over the amount of artificial light within the museum. In regards to natural light, exposure time can be reduced by putting items into storage once they have reached their annual recommended lux hours, changing displays frequently, and excluding all light when the museum is closed using curtains or blinds. All windows should be fitted with ultraviolet filtered glass to minimize ultraviolet damage to artifacts. Each of these lights has a varying life expectancy, so it is important to continually monitor how effective they are. This would require extra funding, as the museum will need to pay a contractor to check this. LED lights are very expensive, therefore the process of completely changing out all of the existing bulbs would prove to be very expensive. DALI systems can be unreliable, requiring ongoing maintenance. This would require further funding. Motion sensors are also a costly avenue. Furthermore, motion sensors can detract from certain artifacts, as people will be less inclined to go into dark rooms. One disadvantage of creating a schedule where staff are routinely and regularly changing artifacts is that there is a lot more potential for artifacts to be damaged. To combat the issue of light damage on artifacts, the South Australia Museum should seriously consider replacing all lamps with LEDs, installing a DALI system and movement sensors, putting artifacts in storage, routinely replacing artifacts, fitting curtains to completely block off any light entering the room when it is closed, and replacing all windows with ultraviolet filtered glass. Cumulatively, this museum measures could improve the longevity of artifacts within the museum without compromising the visual requirements of visitors.